Hi Flosstube, it's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is April 30th. We're quickly approaching midpoint of 2022 and it just feels like we just started. It feels like it should be February 1st and not almost May 1st. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about cross stitch or haul or quilting or related items, handwork items. Thanks for stopping by, and today I have quite a bit to show you. I have some FOs, so some finished objects, a few finishes from last time, a couple things I pulled out that one I pulled out to stitch on that I had not planned to, but my WIP pile is vast and there's so much to stitch on. So I also pulled out my plans. I had 10 projects that I had targeted for January, February, March, and April. I stuck to that for the most part. I did work on a few other things. Some of my 10 projects I really didn't spend hardly any time, if any, but some I've spent a lot of time on, and they're all big projects. I hope to continue to work on those this year. For sure, I have one I want to finish for sure this year. I also have 10 projects, or 11 I think maybe, because I added one for May, June, and July. Some of those are smalls that I started in Stitch Mania a few years ago. A couple of them are bigger ones, but I am super excited to get to patriotic stitching. And I'm also going to show you what's in my to be fully finished pile, which has grown immensely. Like, I haven't done any of it at least in a year. Some of these I have finishes from last year. I just kept throwing them in the pile. It's okay. I'll get to it. Life is just so stinking busy. My work is just so crazy busy. And I keep thinking it's going to slow down a little bit, but it doesn't. It just continues to accelerate. And I'm going to a retreat, not this next week, but the week after. And my friend Lori Textilis and I are flying into Chicago. We're driving to Country Sampler. We're meeting some friends there for a couple days. And then we're heading to Amana, Iowa for the Farm Girl Gatherings retreat. So super excited for that. I just feel like I need more of that in my life. But we're sort of in an in-between phase. We went down to our property in Oregon. So we bought 5 acres there, and we plan on building a shop. And in addition to a tiny house, just a like a 20 by 20 room that we're going to live in with the tiny house while we build our house. And then once the house is built, we'll tear the addition off the tiny house and reuse that material on a different project. So many things. Like, there are every weekend this year feels like it's filled up, but some of it is also dependent on good weather. And I'm super excited. If you watched my Insta stories last weekend when we were at the property, I took a lot of shots. That's the first time I posted really what the property looks like. And it has great bones. The people who were there before, I don't know why, but they just didn't care for things. And we had a lot of garbage to clean up. So we're really quite a ways through that process, and now we're just clearing brush and looking at the property, figuring out where we're going to build. We have to finalize house plans. We have one that we like, but we want to make some changes to it, and so much going on. So somebody asked last time, they said, you haven't talked about your kids lately, and I don't really talk about my family a lot on this channel. It's not because I don't love my family, because I love them dearly, but sometimes I feel like I want them to have privacy too. I'll just say that my oldest child just bought a house, which is exciting. None of them have significant others that I know of right now that are serious. My second one graduated from college and is working at a company. And it's a good first job. So I'm happy for them. And my third one and my fourth one are figuring out their paths still. They went to college, decided that they weren't going to continue. And my third one is looking into an electrician apprenticeship program. So looking toward trades. And that one, my third and fourth child, are both thinking about moving to Oregon. So I wouldn't be surprised if we all end up back in Oregon at some point. That's the family update. We are just biding time, honestly. Excited for the future. And so I'm not wishing my life away, but man, it's going fast. It feels like it was going slow for a while, and now it's really going fast. So we got to get a lot done. What else? If you hear a heater in the background, it's because I'm in my craft room and my old heater bit the dust. And so I have a new one that's on a thermostat and it kicks off and on. So other than that, you might hear meowing. The cats are out in the garage. Sometimes they get very demanding. They want to come inside. And they keep bringing me pieces of animals. They're outside cats, so they come in and they, ugh. It's gross. But this time of year, they're predators, man. They're out there looking to hunt every day. You don't care about that. You want to talk about cross stitch. So what have I worked on? Well, let me just show you. I have a lot of stuff here. A lot of good stuff. I picked up this one. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find all my patterns as I go through this. So if I do later, that's okay. So I picked up this one. This is called Harriet Hunt. And it is by Sub Rosa Designs. I'm going to come a little bit closer with that. Isn't this so sweet? I love this one. I had just stitched a little bit in here. I had barely had a start. And then when we went to the property last weekend, I stitched quite a bit while I was down there. I stitched on the way down, and this was great because I stitched in hand. I didn't have to mess with any kind of a Q-snap or anything. And then I did some of it down there, but then I did quite a bit this week and I finished it. So this is, if I can find the pattern, where is it? Oh, here, it might be over here. If I can find the pattern, when I find it, I'll show you. It's finished in a bag, and I think I'm going to do that same finish. She doesn't show how to do the FFO, but I think I could find a pattern, or I could just make it myself. But this, I love the colors in this. This is super sweet. Love it. Very springy. And then I showed you this one. This is Flower Sampler. I couldn't find the pattern for this one either. This is also Sub Rosa. She stitched this on a darker fabric, and I wanted it to be on a lighter fabric, so I chose that. And the white is a little bit ghosty, but I do love it. Last time, I think I had finished this and I was up here. I decided not to put the alphabet in up at the top, and I have something in mind to FFO this too. So I'm excited to work on that. I just need time. That's the most precious commodity for me right now. I need like a day to clean my house. I need half a day to wrangle my email for work. I need to go through my own personal email and clean some stuff out. I need to organize some paperwork. And I need to work ahead for when I'm gone for the retreat. So if anybody knows how to capture more time, just let me know. Now, here, so those are two finishes. I felt like I was on this dry spell where I was stitching on multiple projects and not finishing anything, but you just got to stay the course, right? So this is Vintage Tulip Designs. And what I love is, I'll tell you, I'm not really a purple girl. I wore my purple today. This is the one thing I own that's purple. I think I might have one other shirt. I don't have any purple in my house, but I saw this this was sold as a kit by Extrude Designs, and Vintage Tulip Design. She's on Etsy also, so you can find this pattern in her shop. I have thread that is from Jukas. Here's the thread. Isn't that gorgeous? And this thread is lush. It is not, I don't think it's a DMC base. It's a matte base, and it is very, man, when you stitch with it, it's like stitching with silk. It's just a full thread. It's so nice. So I worked on this since last time I showed you. I just went to town. I thought, you know what? I'm going to put this on my board here so it's easier to handle. A little bit easier to handle anyway. There. Isn't this gorgeous? So I love that this was something that I would not have normally stitched in terms of colorway. However, isn't this beautiful? And I think this would be beautiful with just a simple silver frame. I love the white matte board behind it. It really brightens up the piece. This fabric is sort of a gray. It's a model gray. And when you see it in person, there's a lot more modeling that you can see than maybe showing on your end. But this is just, it's so pretty. It is so pretty. Now, I was telling you last time about how this fabric was fantastic to stitch in hand. I stitched the border in hand. And when I asked her for the kit, I don't know if she had it listed, but I had seen it before on her website. This is Extra Designs. It's her threads, it's her fabric, it's vintage Tulip Designs pattern. She said that she could dye me some 40 count. I asked her if she could put 40 count in, and she said sure. So I got it, and I'm stitching along, and after the last video, I'm looking at this, I'm like, there's no way this is 40 count. As I looked at the stitches, they're just not 40 count. And I measured it, it's 34 count. So I think it was 32, and then she dyed it, and it shrunk a little bit. However, the threads, because they're so beautiful and so lush, it's one thread over two, and it has fantastic coverage. Fantastic. So I have such a big pile of things that need to be framed. It's crazy. Because I'm never going to stitch this a second time. I really have so much in my stash that, of course, I'll never get it stitched in my lifetime. I'm going to give away the rest of my threads. There should be enough threads to stitch this a second time, even on a 32 count, especially a 32 over dyed, or like a 36 or 40. So if you would like this pattern and these threads, go ahead and write Tulip in your response. That's the word I'll search. You don't have to, I'm not going to ask you a question this time. Just mention the word Tulip. So good luck to you. I hope you're interested in that one. It was so much fun to stitch that one. I enjoyed it immensely. So, and then all the rules apply. You have to be 18. I will tag you if you win it. Please don't say giveaway. Anyway, so the last week, before I get into showing more of my things I stitched on or have plans for, I have two giveaways from last time. Token of Love. These are both by Wendy from the Heart Needle Art, and a Spanish sampler. Zavery Hearn, is that how you say it? I'm not sure. So the winner of the Spanish sampler is Lucinda Fino, and the winner of Token of Love is Leslie Hurley from Fat Cat Flossing. Leslie has a Flosstube channel, so check her channel out. Congratulations. Just go ahead and take a look at your post and respond to me with your email address, and I'll get that out in the mail to you. All right. I feel like I need to move stuff out of the way here. I do. Oh, please. I also picked up and worked on something that was a little less expected. Like I said, I had those 10 focus pieces for the first sort of little more than a quarter this year. And I was just thinking about this piece and the pretty, pretty colors in it and how much I wanted to get back to it. And it's Rachel Holmes by Heartstring Samplery. The picture is, I wish it was a little bit closer so you could see the stitched piece. This is not, it sort of looks like Bargello, but this is actually a collection of eyelet stitches. And then this is like a satin stitch along this side. So all the rest of it is cross stitch, and it's really pretty. It is, the last time I showed you this was at a WIP Parade, and I had stitched like this down here. That's how much I had done. So I finished coming across here and going up the side. I think I may have done just a little bit of the yellow before, so I'm starting to work on that. And what I plan to do is just go up and start all the bands, and then it will be easy. Like, then it will be repetition, right? You can just, you don't have as much counting to do. But I really like the colors in this. They're soft, they're pretty, very pretty. I think this looks like it's, oh, I don't know what this is. Pecan butter maybe by Lakeside? Could be a parchment. I don't know what it is. I'd have to look at my spreadsheet, which I love, by the way. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner, but I really appreciate tracking my projects on a spreadsheet. Makes it easy. Now, moving this out of the way and this out of the way. Let's talk about plans. What's coming up here? Move this stuff out of the way over here. I'm sorry if I bumped you. I did get my hair cut. She cut it short again. I'm not sure that that's what I'm going to continue to have her do. I haven't decided. So in May, June, and July, my focus is going to be on some patriotic pieces. And I was watching Lisa Abbey from Lisa Abbey Needleworks. She also has a Flosstube channel, and her stuff, I get her. Our styles are very similar. She was talking about this, which is Summer at Hollyberry Farm. And this project, out of all my projects, has really been screaming at me lately. I very much want to get back to this one. I had to make myself stop stitching it last time because I love stitching on it so much. Now this is with the called for threads, and it is on 40 count espresso by R&R Productions. The cranberry, these are all in cranberry by, I don't know if it's General Arts, I think it is. Cranberry thread. Look at how big this is. Well, here, let me just put it back. But that color, oh, those colors are just scrumptious. So I would say this is about a third of the way done. Wouldn't take long and it would be halfway done. That house is going to take a hot minute to do, but I do love this project, and I can't wait to get back to it. So I probably will be tired after a while of stitching on red, white, and blue, but that's okay, because that's not a bad problem to have. So that's on my Patriotic month plans. Patriotic plans, I guess. The next one is a Dine to Stitch Club piece, which has been since released by Heartstring Sampling. Oh, here it is. I'm like, where is it? Where Liberty Dwells, Huswife. And I do love me a kit because it comes with all the things. This is my needle minder, but it comes with all the goods that you can fully finish it with. However, as you will see in a little while, that doesn't always motivate me to get it done faster. This is where it is. And really once you put the flowers here, there's like a dotted line that outlines it, and maybe a little bit on each end, but this is a super simple piece to stitch, and this should go very quickly. So that's the second one. The third and fourth are Summer in Baltimore by With Thy Needle and Thread. I have a couple of these little boxes. I have one that's bigger and one that's smaller. I think it depends on the thread count as to which one you use. Well, it would make sense, right? And I have started the band piece. This is on a 40 count fresco by Picture This Plus. So I have a little bit of the middle done. This went really fast. And then I haven't started, there is a scissor fob that goes with it. And I have a piece of fresco for that, but I haven't actually started that. So those, I probably will take those to the retreat coming up. And also this one, this is Liberty Days by You and I and Friends. You and I and Friends. I love their stuff. And I'm not sure, I think Teresa Kitten Stitcher has it on her site from time to time. I picked up a blue, I had this in my stash, I have no idea what it is, but I think it's a 32 count. And I stitched the blue house in Blackbird Blue by General Arts, and I do not love the coverage, which is why I stopped. I didn't like it at all. But I do have a blue silk from Silks For You that I'm going to use instead. So I'm going to pull this out, and as you can see, you might not be able to see so much there, but it's very, you can see the fabric behind the thread very easily. I'm not loving it, so I'm just going to pull that out and restitch that part. That won't take me too long to do, but I think I'll like the look much better. So that one probably is going to go to the retreat with me. So I'm going to pack, I'm going to take my, I'm going to check a bag and pack a carry-on so that we have enough room to bring stuff back. That's terrible, isn't it? But that's planning for you. I'd rather do that than pay to ship it. The next one on the list is the Workbasket Village. And this, it says, earth hath no sorrow, heaven canst not heal. And it does have a very much like a patriotic look to it. The workbasket patterns are so much fun to stitch. I have started this tree. Look at that tree. That was a blast. Although you have to pay attention. Like, there's geometrics, and if you're not paying attention, things aren't going to match up. So, and you can't really fudge it. So I do love this. This fabric looks like it's a lakeside, maybe sand dune. It's pretty golden. I'll have to look at my spreadsheet. Could be, I don't know what it is. Could be meadow rue. But this is I'm shouting for me. Can't wait to start or to work back on that one. Woo! Good thing I didn't wait any longer to do this video. I'd end up with, I don't know, a 2-hour video. The next one, so this one was not originally on my list of things to do, but Lori Textilist, my friend, she showed it in the video, and she's going to work on. I'm like, boy, I really do love that one. And that is Summer on Cherry Hill, at Cherry Hill by Brenda Gervais. This was also a Mania start. Most of these were Mania starts from a couple of years ago. I just haven't gotten back to it. Isn't that pretty? And I want to say this looks like it's Legacy. It could also be Heartland. Well, I picture this plus. The B-Skep really looks, I might have to do a little outline around that just to define a little bit more. But the colors on that are scrumptious. And this one I started in Stitch Mania, my Patriotic Mania, a couple of years ago. Let Freedom Ring by Abby Rose. This one I had identified at the beginning of this year when I was doing my plans for the year of working. This one has a lot of stitches on it. So no joke, I'm not sure if I'll finish this one. It's solid. You know, there's a lot that goes on with this. My sister stitched it and she finished it. It's gorgeous. This looks like it's on Vintage Pearl Barley. And I'm totally substituting colors. I do love the very light pink that's on here. It's super sweet. So I'll be working on that, but I can't promise that that's going to be a finish. I can't promise that anything's going to be a finish these days. But I can promise I'm going to keep working on my stuff. Oh, my hair. It's in my eyeballs. There. What else? I'm going to continue to work on this one. Okay, so this one was part of my 10 in the first quarter this year. And I worked on this, but I did work on other projects too. If I'd been monogamous, I probably could have gone a lot farther than I did. I showed you this in the last video, and I don't think I've worked on it since then. And I don't think it's going to work for me to put a board behind it either. So I'm just going to hold it because it's pretty good sized. This is Live on Little by Plum Street. It's a retreat piece, and it was last May that it was released to us in a retreat for Farm Girl gatherings. So look for it in the future. I'm sure Paulette will release it at some point. Oh, look at this mermaid. Isn't she fantastic? I started with my flowers up the side. I'm super excited that I'm just working up now. I'm done working across on the bottom and just building this beautiful house. The top has like land in another house. There's some seagulls, and that border comes around. There's a saying. I might bring this one to the retreat too. I'm not sure. And I did change. I added this star here, and I put my initial in the middle. So that's an addition that I made to the pattern. Because, you know, that's part of the fun, is making it your own, personalizing it. "25 minutes in, and we're still talking about stitching." All right, so this one, which was previously a unicorn for many people, and now is available on 1884 Stitchery, McKenna's store, Prize Your Liberty by Merrily Beans. And I started this and have not stitched it at all since I started it, but I really can't wait to just focus on it. So I may not, this will be in my next few months, but I may not work too much on it until summer at Hollyberry Farm is done. Look at this though. It is, I just love it. Just love it. And I'm totally not using the colors, same colors at all. I'm using overdyes. In fact, is it charted in DMC? It might be charted in DMC. So fragile. Yeah, it is charted in DMC. So I've just got some overtides and some just odds and ends that I have in my stash. And this is as far as I am. One little line. I can't wait though. And this looks like it's on maybe an antique white linen. So it's sort of a creamy, soft, pretty color. Let me make sure I get that put in there, because that would not be very forgiving if I got that dirty. And then the last one, which should be, oh, here's the Harriet Hunt sewing pouch that I was showing you earlier. Here's the finish that she did. Does she have a back? Yeah, she shows the back of it here too. Yeah, so that, I can do that. The last one I have is With My Needle by Blackbird Designs. I stitched this over one last year and took it as a gift exchange gift at the May retreat. And so now I'm stitching it over two on a 32 vintage buttercream, because I wanted it to be bigger. I didn't want it to be small. So this is as far as I am. And this will go very quickly. There's a lot of empty space on here. It's not dense stitching, but it is so pretty. It's very pretty pattern. So those are my focus pieces for the next 3 months. I'm excited. I'm excited to start stitching on them. And I thought I have some haul to show you, but I also want to show you my finishes that I haven't fully finished. So first of all, let me just show you a few things that have come in the mail. One is, I'm going to pull this out of the package. This is the Legacy Fiber Arts Fabric Club piece. This is Schooner. And there's such a nice, like, historical little write-up on this. I love this. And they also include, they included Navy Wavy from Classic Colorworks. I do love that that little bonus comes. It feels, it's special. Sue does the dyeing and Rachel does the distribution. And this fabric is scrumptious. It's almost like a pumpkin-y type of a color on top. It's sort of a parchment-y, but you can see the color, the base color is sort of almost like a pumpkin. It's so beautiful. And I love that it's just quarterly because honestly, y'all, I have thread coming out of my, oh, I don't know. I have thread coming out of everywhere, and fabric coming out of everywhere. So, but it was totally worth it. That's a gorgeous club. I also picked up this recently from Shepherd's Needle. I had not seen this before. This is a Brenda Gervais. I don't know if it's an exclusive to them or what, but it is a got something hanging off of here. It's a piece of the plastic from the packaging. Mansion House at Fox Hollow. It's a reproduction. It's very pretty. It's a little simple. The colors, I mean, you could completely change the appearance of this by changing the colorway altogether, which I might do. Just saying. Lisa from Crimson Greenway showed this on her last video, and I immediately went and bought it because it's French. It's Bonnie Sullivan and Kathy Schmitz. And there are so many things in here. I love this. So many things in here that I would like to stitch. I think, you know, once she showed it and I bought it, I think other people went and bought it. So it's on the secondary market. It's an older book. So if you look for it, keep your eye out for it. You should be able to get it for a decent price. I mean, look at that quilt. Don't pay $5 million just because somebody puts the price on there of that. I do love this magazine. I don't subscribe to it. I just look when it comes out. I go to Barnes & Nobles and I look through it and decide if I'm going to buy it. My rule is I have to have 2 things in there that I would stitch or make. I had patterns. I just have had magazines that I carried around in my life for decades. And they were magazines that I got in the mail. They weren't the Sampler and Antique Quarterly. If I had those, I would have kept them. They were like, you know, just cross-stitch and country crafts. It was a great magazine, but at some point you're like, nah, you know, I'd let a lot of them go. So I like this one. Isn't that crazy? It's got purple on it. What's up with the purple in me lately? And then this is Priscilla and Chelsea. This is Priscilla's. This is so stinking cute. Good stuff in here. There are a lot in here that I would stitch. I do like Liz Matthews. This is kind of simple. Isn't that pretty? I'm not going to spend time. There's other people that have done flip throughs on that. I was watching Valerie Stitching in the Barn. So she had met with her friend who made redware and who reproduced samplers, and she did a tour of her house. One of the most incredible videos I've seen. I went back and rewatched 2 of them. She had one and then she had a follow-up. I watched them both. And just not too long after that, Valerie messaged me on Instagram about some story that I had put out there. And I'm like, you've been on my mind. I just rewatched your video with your friend. And she said that person's doing really well. They had moved. And I was enabled by that video. I saw that she had stitched Hannah Lancaster. This is by Porcupine Designs, I think is what it's called. This was a mom and daughter duo, I think, who reproduced this. I really, really liked the design. I do not love the colorway. It is very dominantly green and tan. And I have studied this in depth and sort of looked at threads that I have, some other projects I have, and I have an idea of, I'm going to completely change the colorway on this. I got plans on plans. And I have a couple of pieces of haul that I want to show you that are, this one I was going to show you last time and I didn't pick it up and show you. Okay, so this is a sewing, I don't know what you call it, piece of furniture. Stand, maybe? But the legs look like they've been cut off. But you can find a spot like to put this, and it was not very expensive. In fact, that same day, this is when I went down to my girls' weekend, and I was junking on the way down there. I found this, and I bought it. And then not too long after that, I found another one that was a little bit smaller, but it had the stand, and it wasn't like a floor stand. It would sit on a counter for the same amount of money. I was like, oh, but I just couldn't buy them both. There's no reason to do that. But I did find this, and I thought that was fantastic. I bought this recently. This is a magazine rack. And I love this. It was very reasonable for a piece of furniture. And as you can imagine, these fit in there perfectly. So this is going to go by my stitching chair, and it's going to hold my most current WIPs that I'm working on. I have thought about painting it. I put a poll on Instagram and most people said, yes, paint it. But I had some cries for help. Please do not paint that. This is somebody's furniture. It's their story. You know, they owned it at one point. It is really pretty by itself. I haven't decided. I might still paint it, but it's pretty nice. It's in good shape. And it was like, I don't know, $35. Not much. Not much. The last, we'll have a couple little pieces of haul. I think I showed this before. And this, sorry about that. I was inspired by Carol's Saltbox Stitcher. She's been stitching the Pins and Needles Brenda Gervais little booklet that came out recently. And she showed that she had put pins on hers. Where the pins were, she actually got real small pins. And I forgot I had just bought these. These are from Clover. They're silk pins. And there's not just white, there's also red in there. So I pulled those out. I thought, this is exactly, I thought I would show you because this is available to everyone. You should be able to find this. But this is exactly what I would use if I were doing the Carol finish. I also had some vintage buttons that I got at the same store. And I love, these are the real deal. These aren't the reproductions. These are probably bone buttons. And I forgot about this. Okay, so this is a little clasp that is the top of a little purse. But if you have seen some finishes, I want to say Brenda Gervais has a couple of designs where you use these little, you make a little purse or a pouch. Hers might even be smaller, but I look for this kind of stuff when I go to a quilt store, and this is where I got it, was at a quilt store. Sometimes it's merchandise that's been hanging around for a while, and you may only find one or two. Also online, but this, when I see this kind of stuff, I grab it because I can always use it later, but you can't always find it later, right? So, I mean, if you've ever thought about something, didn't buy it, and later you go back and it's gone, and you're like, I gotta trust my gut when I think, would I really be sad if I went back and this wasn't available again? So those are some sweet little accessories that I wanted to share with you. I probably shared it before. Oh, and this. Okay, I got this at Barnes & Noble's. This is me. This is what I imagine my future life is going to be. Me just contemplating at my art table. This woman's a painter. Probably I'm not going to be wearing a white dress that's made of linen. I mean, it's very sweet, but I would have paint spill on that immediately. But I do, this is a nice thick magazine, and it is full of eye candy. So when I say I need time, what I really want is like a cup of hot chocolate, a cozy couch, and about half a day to read this cover to cover. And dream and make plans. It's just, I mean, beautifully made magazine, sorry. So you want to take a look at some of my previous finishes? Of course you do. Okay. If you don't, that's okay. I looked through these and I thought, dear me, why have I not finished any of these? But again, I got a lot to do. Not enough time and a lot to do. This is Threadwork Primitives. I can't remember the name of this pattern. Well, when I showed you this before, y'all went and bought it. And so Nan reached out to me. She's like, one of my friends said that you mentioned it on a video. She said, I've been selling the heck out of it. But look at this. How pretty is that? It is so pretty. And I sort of went through my fabric scraps, and I think this is the backing material that I'm going to have on it. It's a French General. Of course it is. So there's that. I also have, this is a Brenda Gervais Christmas, and this has one of those little stools that you paint red and finish it on top. So I even have picked out the batting to make it. I don't know why I haven't made it. This is on a coffee dyed over 1/28 count, probably a mushroom lagana or some sort of a over one even weave, and it's a Brenda Gervais. This is one of the, it started with Fall in a Manna. I don't know what it's called now. Isn't that sweet? I love that. Why have I not finished this? Anyway, this is a, I don't remember if this was a freebie or how I came across the chart, but I gave it to my friend Stephanie. And United We Stand, Sweet Land of Liberty, USA. I think I'll finish this in sort of a banner finish, you know, with a point here and have it go up. I'm not sure. This looks like it's like a natural linen, maybe. These little people are so cute. Henpeck by Paulette, Plum Street Samplers. That was fun to stitch. I have a couple of those, the trios, but I don't have, she has so many of them. This is also Paulette, Ever Faithful, Ever Kind, Firm and Curious Be Thy Mind. This was a club kit, I think, at one point. I can't remember if I had a club kit or if I stitched it with probably the called for colors. I don't know what fabric that is. This is a kit. This came as a kit, and it is Shepherd's Bush, Every Heart Beats True. I love the way they kind of do the beads and the ruching around the edge. And they do put finishing supplies in, but look at this. Love it. This also looks like a Plum Street. I think it is. Bless Our Land. When I showed this before, a viewer said, hey, you didn't finish. There was one thing I didn't do, like maybe this little star back here. And 2020, yeah, it's 2 years old. This is Old Glory. Oh, I didn't show you. I have one of the other ones that I'm going to work on. I don't know where it went. Is Pretty as a Peacock by Little House Needleworks. And it's on this lamb's wool that's kind of like, you know, stands up on its own. I'm going to restart it. This is Old Glory. I think this is Little House. It's pretty. But I'll make this into, I'm going to make this into a flat fold. I don't know. Maybe. And I want to say, what is this? It's not Stone. Is this? It's not Stone Street Stitchworks. Summer? I think it's Summer House Stitchworks. Isn't that pretty? And then she does this. It's like a mattress finish, I think, on the pattern. This is a piece of wool that you just whip stitched on there. Or she did it like in a V, like a little arrow. That's really pretty. This is, I believe this is Heartstring, or is it Threadworks? I think it's Heartstring. All the pretty flowers live forever in my heart. We may have received this at the Fall Fling or the Pacific Northwest Summit. I think it is the Pacific Northwest Summit. I think this is Heartstring. Isn't that pretty? Her color palette, she's always got very soft, sweet pieces. This is With Thy Needle and Thread. I know this is ridiculous. With Thy Needle and Thread. I don't know if it's Blue Sisters or... I have something in mind to finish this. I know how I'm going to finish that. This also is Heartstring Samplery. May all your dreams come true. This did come from the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. The other one might not have been. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. This for sure was, though. And there's some fabric to finish it, although I might pick something different. I sort of had maybe, I think that's why I pulled this other fabric. Oops. This might be the back of this one. A little bit brighter pink. We shall see. This is, I think it's, I don't remember the name. But I finished these. I want to say these are both Plum Street. They're either Brenda Gervais or Plum Street. This might be Brenda Gervais. This is stitched. it's meant to look like ticking, but it's stitched. And I changed the inside of the stars to blue. I think the rest of it's pretty much the same. This is the same pattern. It has a second piece on it. This is a club kit from Heartstring Samplery. Now it's a pattern you can buy, and it just needs to be FFO'd. It's stitched up and done. Super cute. Here's the backing fabric for it. Right? No excuse really on a lot of this. Floral heart kit by Samplers Not Forgotten. And I used one of Teresa Kitten Stitcher's little cards she included as a thread keep. And I also stitched initials where the little bow went. My initials are on here. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put the bow on or not. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, here's the Pretty as a Peacock by Little House Needleworks. And this is the fabric that can hold itself up. Here's my start. This is going in the garbage. I can't stand this fabric. I bought it and I've never stitched on it. And now I've tried to do some smalls on it. I really just don't care for it at all. But I'm going to restart this on a smaller thread count, like maybe a 40. And wouldn't that be cute as just a pin cushion that maybe distress it a bit and tone it down? It's really cute. Super patriotic. Wow. There's quite a bit that I got done. I did have one of my WIPs that I am planning to restart at some point in the future. I unkitted it, and I finished stitching the corner, and I'm going to make that my small for the retreat in a couple weeks, in the week after next. What else am I stitching on? Well, everything else that was the first quarter is going to kind of be put on hold, and I'm going to focus on these 10 that I showed you, 11 that I showed you. If I'm going to go back to any of those from the first quarter, it's going to be my Mirabilia, because I do want to get that done this year. And I'm down to 62 WIPs. I was at 79 when I started tracking. So I'm excited because this second quarter has a lot of smalls. So there should be several finishes out of the 11. I think probably half of them will pretty easily be finished. Could be more than that, but for sure about half of them will be finished. So maybe not FFO'd, but they'll be stitched anyway. I can put them in a box and move them next year. That, I think, is it for today. Usually I finish my video and I look back and I'm like, oh, there was something I was going to show you and I didn't do it, but there's always next time. I will see you in 2 weeks. I will be coming back from the retreat, so it might be 3 weeks. I will see. I don't know if I'll get a video done on our return trip or not. I might be too tired, too much laughing. But I hope wherever you are that you're having a blessed day and that you're making all the beautiful things. Thanks for watching my channel. I will see you next time. Take care, Flosstube.